Hello everyone, SB Architects here. Today I want to show you how to create bedroom scene with Lumen and Twinmotion. But today, instead of ArchiCAD, we are going to export our scene from 3ds Max instead of ArchiCAD. Now we can see lots of objects in this scene, some of them high poly, some of them low poly. High poly models will cause problems for our render. Therefore, we have to organize them. We have two options. First of all, we will export the scene without objects and we will import them in Twinmotion one by one. By doing this, we will have more control about our objects. We can delete them, we can change them according to your scene. Maybe you will use Twinmotion native furnitures. But if you want to work completely in 3ds Max, before exporting you need to do some organizing. For instance, this bed. This bed had too many polygons. For this reason, I have used a modifier, which is Pro Optimizer. With this modifier, you can reduce your model vertex count. First, you will click this calculate, but before that, if you want to keep your textures, you will check this and click calculate then. After doing that, this vertex count will be activated and you can reduce this slider. You can balance vertex count with the cost of your model quality. So I don't suggest you reduce so much. Around 50 and 30 will be enough. Since this was already reduced count, I won't do that. If I hit F4, we will see the polygons. Let's click this eye to see before and after. Lower count of triangles mean faster project you have, and also render. If your scene is ready, you will control your objects one by one. If they have too many polygons, you can use the Pro Optimizer and then you can export to Twinmotion. Now I presume that you have done that, and after that we will click this data submit and export. We will determine a name here and click save. Now we are ready to go to the Twinmotion. Alright, here we are in Twinmotion, and as you can see here, we are using Twinmotion Community Edition. Because of we want to use Lumen for our render, we need to use 2023.2, and unfortunately I don't have full version, so this text will be always visible for me. Anyway, first of all I want to delete this starting base, starting landscape and starting ground. After that I will click import and click our model which we have exported from 3ds Max. And go to the geometry, click open. After that we will see some options. We have collapse. If you want to keep your hierarchy, that means you want to move your chair to different place in Twinmotion, you need to click this keep hierarchy. If you want a faster process, you can click this collapse by material. Then we have these additional options. If you have UV problems in your model, you can check this, and for your normal problems. I believe that my model normals was fixed in the 3ds Max, therefore I'll uncheck this. Here you can see it increases our memory consumption about 13%. After that we have process all. If you click that, you will see an option which elements will be imported from 3ds Max. I'll click this mesh because I will place my lights in Twinmotion, and the rest will be left as is. Let's click import. Alright, there we have imported our model. If you can't see your model, you can click your model from the scene graph, right click and click zoom to selection. Now I'll control all of the models and want to see if there is any problem. Everything looks fine for now. If we see a problem, we will fix it in 3ds Max later. At first stage, I want to change all of the materials. And then I'll change the lighting settings and render. First of all, we are going to change the window material because we don't have any light inside. Let's click material, glass, and assign clear glass. Now, as you can see, everything looks different. And it already looks beautiful. We have a lamp here. I'll change its material to glass too, but this time item glass. Since we started from item glass, we can assign it to other objects. I want to give some reflection, therefore I won't use item glass. Instead of that, I'll try reflection glass. And I'll change the frame. Instead of assigning new material, I'll hit the T to use material picker and change roughness to see some reflection. I'm gonna do the same. I want to make this anthracite and I want to give some roughness to some reflection. Not too much, not too low. It mustn't look as mirror, it must look as brushed. If you want to give more detail, you can go to the normal and assign a normal material and also for your roughness. This chair should have been black, as you can see. Let's fix it. Let's go to material, wood, and in the wood segment you will see some letters after these numbers. These letters define the type of the model. I want to use a flat, seamless wood material. That type determined as G group, so I'm gonna assign G materials. For instance, this one or this one. It's not important. I'll change the color from here. First of all, I'll make it desaturated and reduce this slider to black. If you are not satisfied with the roughness, you can change it. Maybe we need more brightness, so we can increase its luminosity. And change this slider. Something like this. After that, this chair and this table will be wooden too. Let's change them too. But before that, as you can realize, we have a very small screen here because we have clicked this import. Let's click it to have more space in our screen. Let's continue from here. I think this chestnut material will be useful for our model. I want to increase the scale. Let's go to scale option, this UV, and let's see our veins for our model. It's too dark. Let's increase the luminosity. Way more better. We have a iron here. We have an iron here. Let's assign an iron material. Unfortunately, we don't have any iron material in the native library. Therefore, we will go to Megascan, Surface, Metal, Pair, and Iron. Way more better. If you want to assign your material from object to another object, you can use the material picker. You can hit the T or click this icon, and from the top of this window you can drag and drop to your model. But by doing this, your materials will be linked together. That means if you change the color or any other settings for this material, other objects material will be changed. By the way, if you look at the baseboard, you will realize some problem. This happens because we cannot see the true face for this model. This material is one-sided. We need to turn this one-sided material to two-sided. Let's click the material picker, and from the bottom of the window, click miscellaneous, click two-sided. And it was fixed and looked way more better. If you see any artifacts like this in your scene, you can use the two-sided material to fix that. The most important thing is turning your exterior walls to two-sided. As you can see, some light passes through before it. After it, some lights cannot passing through. There are benefits checking all of your material one by one. I think there are too much reflections for these pictures. Let's fix it by changing opacity to reduce to reflection value. We can give reflection here too, and to inside, copy this material to inside, and for the final we will change our fabrics. Go to library, material, fabric, and we're gonna give it some try. Not too bad. Maybe we can use this by increasing its scale. Yeah, way more better. Maybe to this curtain. Yeah, it seems elegant, and let's try downloading this and assign. Actually, this is a very nice material. I wish we could use this, but I need a white one. Therefore, I'm gonna use this, but increase the scale to see the details. And I'm gonna duplicate to other white things. There you go. We have a stone here. Let's go to marble for that. Yeah. Very nice indeed. Let's change the wood. You can use this wood, of course. You can go to the material picker and change its roughness. Or, like before, you can go to the wood. And this type is, I think it was E type. We can use this red cedar. Change the scale rotate, and change the color. I want it looks like as previous version. Yeah, something like this. I think this part is too bright. Let's give it another try. I wanna give that a medal, maybe slightly warm chrome, and change its darkness. Yeah, as you can see, we have some problem with the model, but anyway, to fix the problem, you may want to go back to the max and fix your model and re-export. After exporting, we will click import again and click refresh, or re-import actually, and it was fixed already. By the way, we have a glass here too. After assigning an HDRI map, it will look more correct. Alright, this was our material part, and now we are going to jump into the lighting stage and render. At the very first, we will click this media and we will determine our camera angle. It will be something similar to this. And then we will click this plus to save our camera view. After that, I want to fix my camera millimeter settings. By changing this, as you can see, it will zoom to the building, room. By doing this, we will see less objects, but benefit of doing this, our render won't be stretched too much. It's very important for a realistic render. But you may want to give it a try to see more objects. You may want to go back, but as you can see, we have a door here. I have a solution for this. In the camera settings, camera effects, we have this near clipping. We will increase this value and maybe we can see inside. And now we can go back further. And I think this way is more elegant and smarter. And we will click this parallel to make that flat and click refresh again. While we are in these camera settings, we will reduce this vignette, because this will make your scene darker. You can add vignette effect later in Photoshop. For our scene, as you can see, we are very close to these books. For this reason, we can activate this depth of field. After that, we will click this peak focus and click the wall. If your objects appear too blurry, you can increase this aperture value to make it less blurry. Let's go to render settings to look at what we have. We are already in Lumen. Our scene detail will be higher. 4 is enough. You can increase it by clicking onto that and giving it a number, but it won't change anything. We have shadow here. You will see reducing this slider to left side will give your shadow more detail. I want to give that minimum. Then we have reflection quality. We will increase this to 5 or higher, and as you can see, it will increase your stats. GPU RAM. Therefore, I'll reduce this value to 4. Now our render settings is okay, camera settings is okay, and finally environment. Actually, for this tutorial, I don't want to use HDRI. Instead of that, I will place a picture behind the window and only change time of day. Let's do that. Let's go to library, objects. We can use these planes, or we can go to tools, cycloramas, and plane. After placing it, use material picker and give your texture from the details under the color segment. This one, this icon. Click open. Now let's click this quit media and let's assign the position from outside maybe. It must be over there, but size is small. Let's increase. It will be enough for this scene. Of course, if you have any other camera angle, you need to reposition this plane according to your camera. But we need to set up the cyclorama material. It was this. I'll increase the scale. Something like this. We can change the texture starting position. Actually, we need to increase the size. Yeah, way more correct. Now let's control the other settings if it is correct. Anyway, we are going to use as default. It's too bright. Actually, it's normal for now. Now I want the sun to come inside. Something like this. To rotation, we will change location sun north offset. Something like this. And as you can see, we have too much yellow. To give it a natural light effect, we need some blue. First of all, I want to uncheck this auto exposure. And the local exposure is on. If we turn this off, you will see this. Clicking that will give you more shadow boost and highlight reduction. And from the global lighting details, we have this ambient. Let's increase that. It will give more light to your scene. And white balance is important because now we will get rid of that yellow. Our sun is too bright. We can reduce the sun intensity from here. And from the local, we can increase this shadow boost. As you can see, these areas are now lighter, and highlight reduction, we will increase this highlight reduction. As you can see, outside sky is now blue. Now you may think now our scene is very dark. Here is our solution. We will go to library, go to lights, and we will place area light to outside of the window. We will change its settings sizes from here, and we will rotate according to our window position. Something like this. After that, we will go back to our image and click our area light and increase its intensity. But this time, we will give that blue and reduce attenuation to 2 meters. By doing that, our blue effect will only appear around the window. And if we want to give more blue and tint effect, you can place another area light to the top of your room. But this time, the important thing is it will not touch to your walls, or it will cause artifacts onto your walls. And as we did before, we will give that blue and change intensity. Of course, you can activate shadows, but if you activate shadows, you will see some shadow. It must be smooth shadow, not sharpened shadow like this. For this reason, I'll uncheck this shadow. Same reason for outside light. Now it's ready already. To final setup, I'll recheck the render settings. As you can see, if we reduce the shadow bias, you won't see these lighting artifacts. There we go. Now we will go to export, select our image and change format. I prefer this JPEG and click start export. And here is our render. Actually, my resolution is not too much. I'm gonna fix it in the Photoshop. Alright, here we are in Photoshop, and at the very first I want to get rid of this logo. I'm gonna select it with this icon roughly, and right click, we will click this content aware fill. Sorry, not that. Right click, fill, content aware. You can do the same to here, but we have too many colors and density is too much. It won't work here. Let's try again. Yeah. You can use like this or without this. I'll go back. And after that, I'll increase the resolution of the scene. Neural filters, super zoom. Click this once. You can change this sharpen and noise reduction. Actually, I won't use that noise reduction, but I'm gonna use this remove JPEG artifacts. Now let's click OK. After that, I'll go to filter again and click camera raw filter. And then I'll go to curve and I'm gonna change these sliders to give it more contrast. Maybe more highlight. You can increase the dark value or change shadow. And we have basic here. Let's give that some texture, and for more detail we can increase this the haze and clarity. Of course, you can change this shadow slider too. Actually, I don't want it to be a bright scene. For this reason, I am not using this shadow too much. And as for the final, from the detail, I'll give that some sharpening. And that's all. By the way, as I mentioned in the tutorial, we could give the vignette effect in the Photoshop. Let's go back. Camera raw filter, optics, and vignette. Alright, this is how you can create bedroom scene with Lumen and Twinmotion. If you want to ask me which one is better, Lumen or path tracing, well, actually I prefer path tracing. Because here you can see the path tracing is activated. It has more details. But actually combining Lumen and path tracing will be a smarter way, because as you can see in this whole tutorial, we set up the scene and I have only clicked the path tracing button. I didn't change anything. But as you can see here, the scene is ready. If we were created the scene only with path tracing, it would be slower to set up the scene. But for the sum up, I'm gonna use this image for the thumbnail. I don't want to misdirect the people to get more click to the video, because this is human render. That's it. If you have any questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this tutorial, please do not hesitate to hit the like button and click ring and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have a nice day. Bye.